are back, and we're jumping right into our third conversation for today. And we're shifting gears, and we are talking about one of my favorite subjects, of course, is music. And we're talking specifically about music for healing. And joining us now is an artist by the name of Feroza Cayetano. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning and good afternoon from Madrid, Spain.
Yes. How are you, Feroza? You're in Spain right now, and of course, Europe was one of the places that has been most affected by the pandemic, and Spain in particular. So, how are you, and how have you been dealing with the pandemic over the past few months?
Madrid was hit hard, especially, and there's no way of talking about this song, prayer song, without talking about the lockdown. Because the week of March 10th, when coronavirus was spreading and it was in the news, and there was talk of the school closing, and it was a very, very weird week because in the news it was death and dying.
Yeah.
And then on the streets in Madrid going to work, because I have a daytime job as a teacher, it was as if nothing was happening. It was so jarring, like there were no face masks. It was normal. But you could see what was happening in Italy by that point, and things were very, 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 very weird. Of course, that was the same week that schools were locked down, and then the country was put in a state of emergency a few days later, and we're still in a state of emergency. But music has been my way of coping. Prayer song, this song, was born in that week where it felt like the world was falling apart. And maybe that sounds a bit dramatic, but that is how I felt. And I had to consider whether I should come home, because my family was like, hey, people are dying, you should come home. And so it was this idea of, should I leave? Should I stay? What about my friends and family in America and in other parts of the world who are suffering through this?
Yeah.
And so I had a moment of, because there are some people who think, and maybe it's true, that prayer doesn't help, prayer doesn't do anything. But in the midst of this global crisis, especially now that the world is burning with racial tensions and thing, for me, falling to my knees in prayer and meditation and just asking every energy and positive spirit out there to please help me and help us, that has been my way of dealing.
Wow.
So through this lockdown, I've been working on songs, I've been working on my album, and in that way, it's been really good.
Yeah, so you found a way to sort of, use music as a healing and meditation as a healing process. Is that something that you normally do in terms of your creative process when you do write songs?
Yes, it is. Mainstream music, very generally speaking, is very not deep, and there is place for that, to just dance and forget your worries. Of course, there is place for that. But for me, I need to go inside and I need to spend time with myself, and I have issues. We all have issues. And the way that I sort through life and life problems is by sitting down with a song. And very generally, when something is happening in my life, I don't quite know how I feel about it and what I think about it until I've written a song. So I'll sit with my guitar and kind of ask myself what's going on. And then when the song is finished, I realize, oh, I am angry, or oh, I am sad.
Yeah.
So, healing is the mission.
Yeah. Now talk to me about your style of music, because your roots are from Belize. You grew up, you're from Barranco, I believe, right?
Barranco Village.
Yeah. All right. And listen, the most soulful music came from Andy Palacio, and some of the stuff that he did. How much of that influences your music today?
even though I am Garifuna, I wouldn't say that I write Garifuna music because I don't sing in Garifuna. I don't write my own songs in Garifuna. But the way that songs come to me, I like to say that songs are born or that I receive it. The way that songs come to me is very much in the Garifuna way, where it's received, like it's me, but it's not quite me. I hear it and I kind of just have to, it's like dictation almost. That's something that's very common in Garifuna spirituality, where it's, they say that, oh, the song was given in a dream, or I saw a spirit and they just, told me what to say. Kind of like that, where songs woo-woo. But even across cultures, inspiration is usually described as something that's supernatural. So there's that.
That's
but
given
first,
to them.
But with the first song in particular, because the week that it was born was also the week of in Saint Vincent and the Grenadines, they celebrate Chief Chatouillet, Heroes Day. He's their hero. He was the Garifuna chief that led the Garifuna into battle against the Europeans and was assassinated. So with this song, I was also channeling the people from whom I come, my ancestors, because they survived worse than a pandemic. This pandemic is bad, of course, but I'm at home, I'm safe, I'm healthy, and they went through so much worse. And so calling on my ancestors, calling on the energies of the wind and the ocean and the rain and the mountains for that strength, for me is how I've been incorporating my Garifuna-ness into my music.
Oh, nice. And we've heard stories from other people before about the lockdowns, especially in Europe, and how strict they are, and so that all that time indoors, one can really it can have several different effects, but some have been using the time to kind of harness their skills and their talents. Do you think that this song would have come to you anyway, or it really kind of just comes from all the introspection and time alone?
It may not. Maybe it would have come in a different way, but I think I needed to feel the extreme emotions in order to get to the point that I got to with this song. Because the first week, anyway, but what has been good is that the first 2 months of lockdown, it was very, very quiet. I live in a fairly quiet neighborhood anyway, but it was extremely quiet, which has been great for recording an album because I'm recording it here at home.
Yeah, that's a plus side.
So my whole apartment building has heard this album, and they don't seem to mind because they're still very quiet.
So you said, what I heard you say earlier, and I just wanted to understand more. You kind of relate the song to being like a prayer, and prayer for some people is kind of the solution, and for some it's kind of the path to solution. Well, what is this song for you?
This song, my mentor, Dr. Jaya John, says that prayer is just a thought that is soaked in soul. So for me, this song has been my lifeline, quite honestly. I believe in physical action of making change and doing what we can to help in this lockdown and with protests and different things, but also in the midst of a revolution and in the midst of things happening, there is also space and need for rest and reflection and being centered in yourself in order to continue the work. So that is what this song is before I do things in my day. At least for the past 3 months, this has been my song that I begin my day with, or I end my day with, because there's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of emotions going around, and we have to feel it, but we also have to not be brought completely down by it. So,
and I would imagine that, because, you spoke about putting together your album, but just the sheer range of emotions and experiences that you must have had over the past few months must have, or I should ask, did it sort of bring on a sort of creative spike then where, you felt like you needed to use music or your art as an outlet for all of that?
It did, absolutely. Because for me, because different people have different experiences. For me, if not for music, I would have gone stir crazy, and I probably would have done something drastic and dangerous by now. At least through music and through writing and through producing, because that's a fairly long process. I can channel all of myself into this project. And especially because the collection of songs that I'm working on, and I'm almost finished, those songs are all meditation songs. They're not quite like prayer song, they're different styles, but the lyrics all deal with healing and introspection, and almost all of the songs have an affirmation of some kind, like I need healing, or what is another song? Anyway, all of the songs have some kind of affirmation that I repeat over and over, like a chant. And so singing those songs over and over again as I record, and listening to those songs over and over as I work the production has been healing, has been, I want to say, life-changing, has been my way of coping with almost 3 months of lockdown.
Well, I think we just need to hear it. We need to hear the song, because it seems that you've poured a lot of yourself into it. That much I'm expecting, and I really look forward to hearing it. So why don't we have a bit of live music all the way from Spain?
Absolutely. I've poured all of my soul into this song, and I only share it because I made the song for me, but I share it because I recognize that it's not just for me, and that the world can benefit from some healing and some light. So this is Prayer Song, acoustic version. What do we do when the world's falling through? When we're so far away, when we're so far away, what can I say when the world is sinking? When we're so far away, oh, we're so far away. I offer my song, yeah, solidarity. I offer my heart, even though it's hurting. I call on the river to wash away the pain. I call on the mountain to lend me all its strength. I call on the ocean and the sky, expand the way. I call on the ones who came before. Oh God, to you I pray. And hey. Oh God, to you I pray. Hey, hey. I call on the river to wash away the pain. I call on the mountain to lend me all its strength. I call on the ocean and the sky. Expand away. I call on the ones who came before. Oh God, to you I pray. I call on the river. I call on the mountain. I call on the ocean. I call on the ocean and the sky, and the ones who came before. Oh God, to you I pray. Thank you for listening.
Oh, wow. That was so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to applaud.
I do. Can I just say, like, you just took me to a whole other place in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The sound, the lyrics, that definitely, I think, is such a, it's like a hug from far away that you just gave me with music. Yeah.
And I'm sure the viewers are going to really appreciate it as well. Yeah.
So you released the song. I know you put out the video online so people can access it, but you said you're working on an entire album. So tell us about the rest of it.
It was initially to be an EP, which just means a collection of songs under 30 minutes. But it seems that I am incapable of writing a song that's less than five songs. So it's an album because it's running at about 40 minutes at this point, even though it's only 6 songs. But the recorded version of Prayer Song, the song that I did just now, is about 5.5 minutes.
Okay.
And all of the other songs are quite long. But the idea is, because I write these songs for me, and I've been creating this collection of songs for myself, when I play it in order, it takes me from my anxiety to, by the end of the album, I'm completely calm and centered and relaxed, and that is the goal when I share it. So Prayer Song was intended to be the opener because it begins with prayer, but at this point it will be the second track. The first song will be a heart opener, and then somewhere in the middle I go more personal about my own truth and my own darkness, which is very I'm happy to share it, but I'm very nervous about 1 or 2 songs because I speak my truth, and although I have a lovely family that loves and supports me, and I haven't been abused by them or anything, but that doesn't mean that I haven't felt pain. And so the song or 2 where I really explore my pain, which is valid despite my happy upbringing. But the last 2 songs of the album go back to spirituality. There's a song called I Am Divine that I'm very excited for people to hear it. It's 6.5 minutes, which is not the normal, radio-friendly songs are usually 3 to 4 minutes, which is why I keep mentioning how long these songs are.
I know.
I Am Divine is 6.5 minutes. I do have a 7.5 minute song called I Have Loved You. And the reason the songs are so long is because with I Am Divine, there's 2 minutes of me repeating, I am divine, I am divine, I am. And with the 7.5 minute song called I Have Loved You, it's almost 7 minutes of this repetition of I have loved you, I have loved you. There's nothing in this world that you could do to make me not love you. I have loved you. And the songs are this long, and I chant it over and over because I need to hear it. There are moments, and I think it's just human. We have these moments where we need to hear positive words just for us.
And it's great, especially it's meditative, because then you can also internalize the message itself. So you need it, but we all really need to say things like that to ourselves more often. And whether or not it's radio friendly, I think most people are going to be streaming it anyway. And you're on YouTube, right?
I am on YouTube. Yeah. If you type in Feroza Cayetano, you'll find me.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for sharing your talent and your music with us this morning. Please stay safe and stay sane in Madrid.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Once again, you can find Feroza on Facebook. You can find her on YouTube. And you can just enjoy her beautiful music.